Good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Kinney. I'm here with Julie Roginski. You're watching the Mayday Network, and we wanted to come live and talk just for a little bit here about what's going on at Davos. Donald Trump just gave an over hour-long speech that was completely unhinged. Um, he's clearly like mental. Like there's just no other way of saying it. Like he's mental. He is a mental person. He is without his mental faculties. He is physically deteriorating. He is saying insane things in front of the leaders of the world and is putting all of us in grave danger. So we're going to watch some of this. We're going to go through some clips. But first, Julie, please.
I said this on our morning show this morning, Michelle. We are in World War III. I want people to understand what that means. It means that we have a president who is leading us to a path that it would be very hard to come back from. It means that the United States will no longer be trusted because we voted to put this madman back in office. And what it really means is that the world is going to start preparing and arming itself for what's to come next. Donald Trump has unleashed insanity, Michelle. He is doing Vladimir Putin's handiwork.
For anybody, absolutely.
The NATO alliance is over. Our relationship with our European allies is over. It will survive Trump. That is the problem. We will not be trusted again. It will take generations to clean up this mess, because the Europeans know, and our allies in Asia know, that if we were stupid enough to elect this man a second time, we'll be stupid enough to elect somebody like him again one day. And therefore, the United States is unstable and cannot be trusted.
Or a failed state.
We are a failed state. And while Europe bleeds from what Donald Trump is doing, the United States has shattered long-standing norms of its own. An American military intervention in Venezuela, Michelle, signals that territorial sovereignty and regime change are again on the table as tools of great power politics. At the same time, he's talking about annexing Greenland, as he just did. We'll watch those clips. A territory belonging to a NATO ally. This isn't happening in isolation. This is happening while alliances fray and trade wars deepen and trust evaporates. You know, I am a child of the Cold War. And I came to the United States during the Cold War and as a result of the Cold War to some extent. The Cold War was a deeply terrifying time. But the Cold War avoided World War III, not because its leaders were virtuous, because believe me, they were not, but because they understood red lines and respected them for the most part. And even proxy wars in places like Vietnam or Korea, operated within guardrails. And the moment those guardrails disappear, when borders become negotiable, when alliances become transactional, when commitments become contingent, the Cold War model collapses, and what replaces it is not peace, but improvisation. And that is the world we're entering right now.
Yeah.
So with that, we should probably play some clips.
Yep. And I, in addition to just threatening and insulting other countries and other countries' leaders, he's also taken this world stage to insult us, the people of this country, the people who run this country, the people who are protesting against an authoritarian government, exercising our First Amendment right of free speech and freedom to assemble. So, you know, he's really, and the only person he's really praising is himself, President Xi Jinping, and Vladimir Putin. These are the people that he is speaking highly of at Davos. Oh, and also, by the way, the rich people in the room who have supported him, Howard Nutlick and Susie Wiles also. These are also people who've been mentioned. So he spoke for an hour and then he sat down in the chair with whatever Davos fluffer this is sitting next to him. I don't know who it is, but it's awful. So here we go. And also, I just want to preface this, if anyone's not following this either online or on television, he has either confused Iceland and Greenland, or he's also added Iceland into the mix. So
started if the 2020 U.S. presidential election weren't rigged. It was a rigged election. Everybody now knows that. They found out. People will soon be prosecuted for what they did. It's probably breaking news, but it should be. It was a rigged election. You can't have rigged elections. You need strong borders, strong elections.
Sorry, I thought that was the Iceland one. I think this is the Iceland one. Iceland 2. Let me just load this in. I was downloading these as fast as I possibly could and mislabeled that.
Well,
So
while you're doing that, how
Yeah.
insane is it that this man is appearing in the World Economic Forum in front of world leaders
Mhm.
and talking about his crazy QAnon conspiracy theories about how the 2020 election was rigged?
Yep.
I mean, if you are sitting listening to this and you are a world leader, your head is spinning right now that we have a madman in charge of the world's largest nuclear arsenal. My friends, this is not your crazy uncle
No.
who's going down rabbit holes because he spends all his time online on QAnon websites.
Right.
This is the most powerful human on earth.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where I'm starting to get really
Terrified.
well, terrified and like rageful in an unhealthy way towards some of these right-wing pundits and conservatives online saying, well, Trump can do this, but this person can do that. I'm like, I'm sorry, is that person the president of the United States with nuclear codes? I'm sorry, this comparison is irrelevant, inaccurate. Stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. So here's Iceland. Hopefully this is right.
I'm helping Europe, I'm helping NATO, and I've until the last few days when I told them about Iceland, they loved me. They called me daddy, right? Last time. Very smart man said, he's our daddy. He's running it. I was like running it. I went from running it to being a terrible human being. But now what I'm asking for is...
They called me daddy. And for anybody who doesn't watch Fox News, hopefully all of us here, Jesse Waters called him daddy last night during his primetime hour. Because this is a thing now. We're going to call him daddy. Let's see. He's also, well, we want to talk about the world economy here and the World Economic Forum. He then starts to shit talk our Fed chair.
And I'll be announcing a new Fed chairman in the not too distant future. I think he'll do a very good job. See, I gave away some of it. He did give that away. So we have something, got something, but somebody that's very respected. They're all respected. They're all great. Everyone that I interviewed is great. Everyone could do, I think, a fantastic job. Problem is they change once they get the job. They do. You know, they're saying everything I want to hear, and then they get the job. They're locked in for 6 years. They get the job, and all of a sudden, let's raise rates a little bit. I call them, sir, we'd rather not talk about this. It's amazing how people change once they have the job, but it's too bad. Sort of disloyalty, but they got to do what they think is right. We have a terrible chairman right now. Jerome, too late Powell. He's always too late.
I'm sure that'll be great for the markets. The rest of these clips I have on Twitter. I didn't have time to grab them all, obviously, because we're strapped for time here. So I'm going to throw, this is my Twitter account up here. Let's see. We have this one. Venezuela is going to do fantastically well. Let's put this here.
Venezuela is going to do fantastically well. We appreciate all of the cooperation we've been giving. We've been giving great cooperation. Once the attack ended, and they said, let's make a deal. More people should do that. But Venezuela is going to make more money in the next 6 months than they've made in the last 20 years. Every major oil company is coming in with us. It's amazing. It's a beautiful thing to see. The leadership of the country has been very good. They've been very, very smart. Venezuela is going to do fantastic.
Yeah. So they've been very good. They've been very smart, meaning that I took out Maduro to put his second in line in power. I'm going to ignore the fact that there's another person who is elected democratically, even though she gave me her Nobel Peace Prizes and continuing to debase herself on a daily basis.
It's also a sign, Michelle, to others, right? I took Venezuela by power, and then they made a deal. Now, the same speech, he said he's not going to take Greenland by power. Don't
Oh,
believe
yeah.
him. Don't believe him.
Mhm.
Don't believe him.
Then he goes on about windmills. Here we go. This is about Denmark. Here we go.
I have tremendous respect for both the people of Greenland and the people of Denmark. Tremendous respect. But every NATO ally has an obligation to be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States. We're a great power, much greater than people even understand. I think they found that out 2 weeks ago in Venezuela. We saw this in World War II when Denmark fell to Germany after just 6 hours of fighting and was totally unable to defend either itself or Greenland. So the United States was then compelled. We did it. We felt an obligation to do it, to send our own forces to hold the Greenland territory. And hold it we did at great cost and expense. They didn't have a chance of getting on it, and they tried. Denmark knows that.
Yep. So then he basically is insinuating that Denmark is weak and that they're helpless, and also signaling that they're going to basically be defeated again by us. Yeah, this is one of the more offensive things he said in an already crazy speech. He's talking to, again, the leaders of the world, mostly from Europe, a lot from Europe, in Switzerland, saying that without us, you'd be speaking German.
They do speak German.
And then after the war,
Right.
which we won it big. Without us, right now, you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps. After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. But we gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now? So now our country and the world face much greater risks than it did ever before because of missiles, because of nuclear, because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. 2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one shot at us. They said, what happened? Everything was discombobulated. They said, we've got them in our sights. Press the trigger, and nothing happened.
All right. I just want to say this. As Trump was speaking, there was a massive market sell-off. And the markets have rebounded. And they have rebounded, and they started to rebound when Trump said this. We never asked for anything, and we never got anything. We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force, where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. And here's the key. This is where the markets began to rebound. But I won't do that, okay? Now, everybody's saying, oh, good. That's probably the biggest statement I made because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force. The markets rebounded. So Donald Trump does pay attention to the markets. And there was a massive sell-off until he said that. And now the Dow's up by, I think, a couple 100 points or 300 points.
Here's him saying this. Just
We never asked for anything.
Oops.
And we probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that. Okay? Now everyone's saying, oh, good. That's probably the biggest statement I made because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force. We never asked for anything.
So I think we lost Julie here for a second.
we never got
I think she had to take a call. But this is where you have to go into the details here, the fine print. He says, we never asked for anything. We never got anything. We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force. But I won't do that. Now he's using the words excessive strength and force. And that is by design, because I think we will still put boots in the ground. We will still go in, but in his mind, or, in his language, using excessive. Now, I quote tweeted this and said, yes, but I won't do that. Just like I didn't know about Project 2025. I barely knew Jeffrey Epstein. I've never met that woman in my life. I mean, come on. So he continues to go on here um, with just more hostility towards NATO.
Them for so many years. We've never gotten anything, except we pay for NATO. And we paid for many years until I came along. We paid for, in my opinion, 100% of NATO because they weren't paying their bills. And all we're asking for is to get Greenland, including right title and ownership, because you need the ownership to defend it. You can't defend it on a lease. Number one, legally, it's not defensible that way, totally. And number two, psychologically, who the hell wants to defend a license agreement or a lease? Them for so many years. We've never gotten anything, except we pay for NATO.
That doesn't even make sense. You need to own something to defend it. That's not how this works. And it's certainly not how Article 5 works. And it's not how NATO works. He's just saying things, including right title. This isn't a car. This is a country, and it's a ginormous piece of land, and he wants it. He wants it because it's big, and it takes up a big piece of the map. I honestly don't know that he could find Greenland on a map if you were to put one in front of him. Not to mention, doesn't know how to say Azerbaijan. I don't know exactly how he says it here, but this is.
And I've now been working on this war for 1 year, during which time I settled 8 other wars. India, Pakistan. I settled other wars that were. Vladimir Putin called me, Armenia, Azerbaijan. He said, I can't believe you said.
Close, very close. Let's see. Then he starts talking about the Golden Dome. Now, this is going to be, in his mind, a version of the Iron Dome, which I'm sure will just be an opportunity to funnel money through military contractors that somehow he will skim off the top. Or it'll be, like the ballroom, where donors can give money to this or something. Somehow this will benefit him because Donald Trump doesn't do anything that doesn't benefit him in somehow.
For national and international security, and to keep our very energetic and dangerous potential enemies at bay, is this land on which we're going to build the greatest Golden Dome ever built. We're building a Golden Dome that's going to, just by its very nature, going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements. For national and.
I just want to read that again. The Golden Dome is going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful, but they're not. I watched your prime minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us, Canada. Canada lives because of the United States. United States. Remember that, Mark. Not prime minister, not Carney. First name, disrespectful. Remember that, Mark. Next time you make your statement. This is not even a veiled threat. It's a threat. And again, Julie and I talked about this morning. We talked about this yesterday. This man is a rapist. He thinks like a rapist because he is one. He takes, he pressures, he dehumanizes and devalues. That's what he does. And he's doing it here too. You should be grateful. You should be grateful. That is what abusers say. Moving on. Again, we already said the thing about Daddy, but we'll play this again.
Iceland, Europe. I'm helping NATO, and I've until the last few days when I told them about Iceland, they loved me. They called me Daddy, right? Last time, very smart man said, "He's our daddy. He's running it." I was like running it. I went from running it to being a terrible human being.
Who said that? I mean, I don't know. Did I miss that? Who called him daddy? I didn't hear that. I, I mean, other than Jesse Waters and maybe JD Vance and Marco Rubio and Stephen Miller. Like, I, I can't. So here's another, he spent a lot of this speech confusing. Again, this is the president of the United States. The president of the United States speaking at the World Economic Forum about annexing an entire country and not even being able to get the name of this country correct. Because Greenland and Iceland are confusing to him, because I'm sure that somebody got it into his brain that Greenland is icy and Iceland is green. That's the only way that I can even try to make sense of this. But this is what he said.
I don't know that they'd be there for us. They're not there for us on Iceland, that I can tell you. I mean, our stock market took the first dip yesterday because of Iceland. So Iceland's already cost us a lot of money. But that dip is peanuts compared to what it's gone up.
Because here he is saying a piece of ice, which is kind of like he tells on himself.
So we want a piece of ice for world protection, and they won't give it. We've never asked for anything else, and we could have kept that piece of land, and we didn't. So they have a choice. You can say yes, and we will be very appreciative, or you can say no, and we will remember. So we want a piece of ice for world protection.
So I'm scrolling here through Aaron Rupar's Twitter feed here, just as an FYI. Aaron Rupar is amazing. He's an independent journalist. He has spent years online. This is how you can find him here at Rupar, AT Rupar. He has a great newsletter. The public notice is very good. But for years, I have relied on Aaron Rupar as a content creator, both at Seneca Project and at Lincoln Project. He is online with Snapstream, clipping this stuff all day, every day. He's incredible and does it really for no money. So if you want to go subscribe to his newsletter, please do. So after I say that, so we're going to move on. Mark Khan. I don't know if that's Aaron Rupar with a typo or if he said it that way, which it's very possible. I watched him yesterday with those beautiful sunglasses. What the hell happened? Audience laughs. But I watched him sort of be tough.
Emmanuel Macron, I watched him yesterday with those beautiful sunglasses. What the hell happened? But I watched him sort of be tough. But he was at $10 for a pill. And I said, Emmanuel, and I have all the big pharmaceutical companies are in total agreement. It wasn't easy, by the way. They're tough, smart. They've been getting away with this scam for a long time.
Again, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that Emmanuel Macron had eye surgery. That's why he was wearing sunglasses. He's not like trying to be cool. He's not Ivanka at the football game the other night wearing sunglasses inside at 8:30 p.m. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
So Aaron Rupar, and I'm just going through Aaron Rupar's feed here because I like him and respect him a lot. The choice is impeachment and removal or calamity for the United States. I don't see how anybody watching Trump's speech in Davos can draw any other conclusion. He is a senile madman. And then I'm just continuing to go up because Trump is slurring. Great.
All caused by this horrible president, just horrible president. I'm asking Congress to cap credit card interest rates at 10% for 1 year. All caused by.
You can see like how hard he's trying to not. It's again, Governor Newsom's press office. Trump is experiencing an electrical problem. Turned the plane around. he goes on. I want to get to the part about Minneapolis. Julie, if you have anything to add here before I get to the Minneapolis part.
No, go for it.
Okay. Oh, and here he is. Here he is insulting the Swiss head of state, the country that he is currently in.
And I guess Prime Minister, I don't think President, I think Prime Minister called a woman, and she was very repetitive. She said, no, 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 you cannot do that, 30%. You cannot do that. We are a small, small country. I said, yeah, but you have a big, big deficit. You may be small, but you have a bigger deficit than big countries. He said, no, 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 please, you cannot do it. Kept saying the same thing over and over. We are a small country. I said, but you're a big country in terms of, and she just rubbed me the wrong way, I'll be honest with you.
Wow, a woman rubbed him the wrong way?
Wait a second. Is he talking about Switzerland?
Yes.
Okay. Switzerland does not have a prime minister. The country is governed by a 7-member executive council known as the Federal Council, and the president of the Swiss Confederation for 2026 is Guy Parmelin. So I don't know who the hell he's talking about. There is one woman. There are two women on this council. So I don't know who the hell he's talking about.
I don't know that he, and clearly he doesn't know who she is.
Is he talking about Denmark?
He
Who's
said
he talking about?
the Swiss head of state. That's what was written here. She rubbed me the wrong way. Trump is now rambling about the Swiss head of state whose name and title he does not know. Then he goes, again,
I have to go back to this. Is this like a hallucination? The Swiss head of state is a guy named Guy Parmelin. He is a man.
Yeah, right, because he's saying, I guess she's the prime minister. Is she the prime minister? Like,
he's the president of the Swiss Confederation. I like.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know that, but I'm not president, and I'm not standing at Davos giving a speech as president. Those are things you should probably know, kind of like how the Secretary of Defense should know what the 5 Eyes are. But we are dealing with a stone cold pack of morons.
Okay.
Morons.
So yes, I guess last year in 2025, it was a woman, Karen Keller-Sutter. I guess she rubbed him the wrong way. That was last year in 2025 because this man assumed the presidency on January 1st. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. And here's just a little bit more of this.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Do not do this. Thank you very much, ma'am. And I made it 39%. And then all hell really broke out. And I was paid visits by everybody. Rolex came to see me. They all came to see me. But I realized, and I reduced it, because I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to hurt them. And we brought it down to
Again, rambling. And then he makes a turn to racism and xenophobia towards other countries that have Black people in them.
$19 billion in fraud that was stolen by Somalian bandits. Can you believe that Somalia, they turned out to be higher IQ than we thought. And we say these are low IQ people. How did they go into Minnesota and steal all that money? And we have, they're pirates. They're good pirates, right? But we shoot them out of the water just like we shoot the drug boats out. They're not pirating too many boats lately, do you notice? $19 billion in fraud that was stolen by Somalian bandits.
You know why? Because he probably went and watched Captain Phillips. Or Philip, whatever the movie is. About
about?
He doesn't know. And here he goes, insulting Minnesota, the people of Minnesota, and the people of Minnesota who were standing up using their First Amendment rights.
The situation in Minnesota reminds us
and more
that
racism.
the West cannot mass import foreign cultures, which have failed to ever build a successful society of their own. I mean, we're taking people from Somalia And Somalia is a failed, it's not a nation. Got no government, got no police, got no military, got no nothing.
Got no nothing.
And then we have this fake congressperson who they just reported is worth $30 million. You believe this? Ilhan Omar, talking about the Constitution that provides me. She comes from a country that's not a country. And she's telling us how to run America. Not going to get away with it much longer, let me tell you.
First of all, about Ilhan Omar, he doesn't think people who have dark skin should have money. First of all. Second of all, I don't know that she has $30 million. And even if she did, who gives a shit? There's an article in the New York Times that came out, I think, yesterday, talking about how much money he and his family have raked in the last year using the presidency as the weapon to fill his bank accounts. It's billions. It's in the billions. He is a scammer and a fraud and a thief. And he has the audacity to tell anybody that they aren't allowed to have money or they're not allowed. I mean, like, is this free market capitalism or is it not? Only for him, though. Only for him. Certainly not a woman with dark skin. That's for sure. And here's more about Minnesota.
The situation in Minnesota
Oh, wait.
reminds us that the
Sorry, that's a different one. A fake congressperson. Here he goes again.
And then we have this fake congressperson who they just reported is worth $30 million. You believe this? Ilhan Omar, talking about the Constitution that provides me. She comes from a country that's not a country. And she's telling us how to run America. Not going to get away with it much longer, let me tell you.
This is sick shit. And again, signaling to the world that apparently we are not going to honor naturalized citizenship. That is what he is signaling there, just in case anybody didn't get that. He is saying, Omar, talking about the Constitution provides me, and then mocking the Constitution, mocking it. Because none of this shit means anything to him. Because the Constitution to him is a piece of paper, and a piece of paper that he would probably tear up and either eat or flush down his toilet, which we know that he has done to other pieces of paper. So then he goes on here. This is when he's sitting down talking to his fluffer. I don't know who this is, but he was saying, like, you know, the American economy is doing so well and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it is news to me.
That was so strong just prior to that. And I was with the two best pollsters, McLaughlin, Fabrizio, and they said, sir, George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, if they came back and ran as president and vice president, they couldn't beat you. And then what happened is the following day, I was told to stay tuned because there's something really bad happening in China. There are bodies laying all over Wuhan, right around that certain building that we talk about. I always said it came from Wuhan. It did come from Wuhan.
So now he's talking about COVID.
He's talking, let me just put it to you this way. He is in Switzerland at Davos in front of the World Economic Forum. And he's talking about Tony Fabrizio and John McLaughlin. Like, what is going on here?
But then
what is going on here?
Well, then he starts talking about world wars too. It's just like it's in his brain, flying around in there, because somebody has sat down next to him, probably Stephen Miller, rewriting history and telling him some version of history so that it will, you know, it'll make him feel invigorated and like, don't you want to be part of this too?
Whoever thought we were going to hit by a pandemic? You know, when I heard the word pandemic, I said, oh, that's an ancient problem. World War I, they lost 100 million people. It actually ended World War I. A lot of people don't know. The Spanish flu in World War I ended the war because all the soldiers were sick. The soldiers were so sick on both sides, and that war was raging, and they were all dying.
First of all, an ancient thing, a pandemic is an ancient thing. It's not an ancient thing. And 1919, 1918 was not that was not an ancient time. My great grandfather fought in World War I. He came back to the United States and his little sister had died of this flu. It's not an ancient thing. My mother and my grandmother are named after her. God forbid we ever ever come across anything like COVID or something worse, because we are screwed. Not to mention, we won't even know that it's happening because all of the agencies and the departments within NIH and the CDC have been gutted
Gutted. And
to even monitor this stuff.
we are being run by another madman who doesn't believe in science when it comes to health. And his name is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has a brainworm.
Literally.
And does not believe in modern medicine.
And Aaron Rupar said, he goes, I find it bizarre to see both CNN and CNBC run with chyrons reporting that Trump said he won't use force to take Greenland, when the comments in question were clearly a threat to take Greenland by force. And when you had stepped away, I was saying it's no accident that he said excessive force. Excessive force doesn't mean he's not going to use force. He said excessive. There's a difference in his mind, at least in his mind.
Well, in his mind, excessive force is nuclear.
Right.
Right. He does not. He does not believe that what happened in Venezuela is excessive force. Now, think about this. You have Navy SEALs and Marines descending on Copenhagen. In his mind, that's not excessive force. While the United States Navy sends destroyers to Greenland at the same time. Somebody should ask him if he believes that kidnapping Maduro was excessive force. I bet you he will say no.
Oh, no, he thinks that it was just, a little trip.
So, it is just bewildering to me that legacy media continues to treat this like an everyday occurrence. This is like that scene. Remember when that plane disappeared about, 5-10 years ago over Malaysia? There was a plane.
Oh, Malaysian Airlines? Yeah, that was like about 10 years ago. Yeah.
CNN went wall to wall on this for
oh God. Yeah.
6 months.
They made fun of it on Daily Show and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's all they did. It was like, where's the Malaysia plane? And that's the only news that was happening in CNN's mind. It's the same kind of nonsense here, where Trump is not going to take Greenland by force. And the market is reacting because people like CNN are saying that he's not going to take this with excessive force. Yes, he is, because there's no other way he's going to get it.
He's a rapist, guys. He doesn't think rape is rape. He doesn't think rape is rape. He thinks he is having consensual sex with someone who just maybe isn't into it yet or just doesn't know it yet.
He thinks sticking his fingers, I'm going to be really gross right now, into E.G. Carroll's vagina in a dressing room at a department store in New York City was not excessive force. He had thrown her to the ground and physically raped her and beat the shit out of her. That would have been excessive force. But what he did, that's not excessive force. That is what he's going to do to Greenland.
Yep. And by the way, I have met E. Carroll. I have spoken to her. I've spent time with her, and she is a lovely, lovely, smart, stronger than anyone knows woman. So I just want to add that to that. Here he is talking about Hamas and making more threats about Gaza, which again, I hope all the people who were leading the don't vote for Kamala, don't vote for Joe Biden movement, I hope you're all happy. So
situations like Hamas, and Hamas has agreed to give up their weapons. Now, they were born with a weapon in their hand, so it's not easy to do. When they were born with a rifle in their hand. It's not an easy thing for them, but that's what they agreed to. They've got to do it. And we're going to know, Jared, over the next 2 or 3, certainly over the next 3 weeks, whether or not they're going to do it. If they don't do it, they'll be blown away very quickly. They'll be blown away. We have 59 countries that are part of that whole peace deal. And some of those countries aren't even they're near the Middle East, but they're not in the Middle East traditionally. And they want to come in and take out Hamas. They want to come in. They want to do whatever they can. There's a problem with Hezbollah in Lebanon, and we'll see what happens there. But that's a problem.
So, look, he's going to Bergdorf Goodman these people. That's what's going to happen. That's where he did what he did to Eugene Carroll.
Yep.
Where he doesn't believe that he used excessive force. He's going to Bergdorf these people.
Yeah, because she's not his type anyways, right?
Yeah. He's going to Bergdorf Denmark.
I think I know the title of your next Substack.
I just came up with it. Thank you. But it's true.
Very good.
It's
No,
true.
well, it also just happens to be true. I
Yeah.
mean, it's clever, but it's effective because we all know what that means, and we viscerally know what this means as well.
And, you know, I'm seeing in the comments here that people are like, we all agree that Bibi was a war criminal and blah, yada, yada. You know, fine. But I'm going to say this, and then I got to go. Bibi sucks. What happens in Gaza sucks. But for all of you who decided that you could not vote for Kamala Harris because you were so offended by Joe Biden giving Bibi Netanyahu a hug after October 7th, you own this just as much as the MAGA people. Because life is a series of choices. And sometimes they're really shitty choices, if that's how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you really have to think about who you want to vote for. But you still go out there and you vote because it's a binary choice. It is not a choice between two people and four other people.
Right. No.
It is two people who were going to be president. One of them was going to win.
Yep. You have to play the game you're in, not the game you want to be in. You have to vote for the election that is in front of you, not for the election that you wish it to be. That is the difference. And this last clip I will play, this is him talking afterward. Trump on Europe, between immigration and energy. If they don't change, bad things will happen to them.
Makes no sense. Between immigration and energy, if they don't change, bad things will happen to them.
And then walks away. And then he starts talking about white genocide.
What would it make you believe that there is no white genocide, Mr. President, in South Africa?
Well, we have seen the numbers, we've seen the records, and it is taking place.
Mr. President.
We all know that's horseshit. But, you know, this is kind of the end of the road here. Again, please support Aaron Rupar. He is wonderful. And I owe a lot of my time to him because of the time he has saved me over the years. But I'm just going to say this because Julie's got to go. She's got important stuff to do. She does. You do.
This is important stuff.
Well, this is important too, but also like listen, Julie's saving the world in different ways, all the ways. I'm going to say this. We are not angry enough. The world is not angry enough. We are not reacting. This is not a proportional response to what is happening. We need to giddy up.
Michelle, do you remember when Bibi Netanyahu came to the United Nations and a whole bunch of people and countries walked out?
Yeah.
My friends.
Why
are you sitting at Davos? Walk out. I understand that you're pissed off, that you think he's going to impose tariffs on you. He's going to be so offended that he's going to impose tariffs on you or he's going to invade your countries. The world is appalled. Why are you listening to this ramblings of a madman talking about Tony Fabrizio when the world is on fire? Walk out. Walk out and show him that the United States is now a pariah. We are a pariah because of one madman that we elected. Not we, people on the chat, and not Michelle and I, but enough people in this country decided they saw what happened from 2017 to 2021, including January 6th, and they said, you know what? We want more. We want more of that because we're pissed off that Kamala Harris is not throwing Bibi Netanyahu under the bus enough the way we wanted to.
Yep.
Are you happy? Are you happy when Jared Kushner is sitting in the front row and he's talking to Jared from the stage at Davos saying we're going to annihilate Hamas? You know what that means? He's not going to annihilate Hamas because Hamas is an idea. They're an evil, horrible, destructive idea. But what he's talking about is we're going to level Gaza to the ground. And you know what? He's going to do it. And you know what else? You made that happen. Congratulations to everybody here who decided that they were going to vote uncommitted during the primaries and they were going to vote for, Jill Stein or whoever the hell they were going to vote for. Congratulations, my friends in Michigan.
Hope you're happy.
I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy as the National Guard comes and takes over your cities. Because he's not going after Somalia purely because they're black. He's also going after Somalia because of their religion.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Listen, I think it was DHS or it was either DHS or Department of Defense put up a meme or tweeted on the 19th a map of the country with a flag on it that says this is a Christian nation.
Yep.
The United States government is putting that on official channels out into the world that America is a Christian nation. They are not joking. It is time. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
When Zora Mandani took the oath of office on the Quran, they went fucking nuts.
Oh, they lost their minds.
They
Lost their
lost
minds.
their minds.
Listen,
Where
and
are
I'm
the protesters? Where are you? Where are the people protesting this? Where
this
are
is
the,
what I want to know.
why aren't you shutting down college campuses?
Listen,
There
I
are
live
people being
near a
hanged.
major university.
There are Muslims being hanged from cranes every day in Tehran and all over Iran right now.
Yeah.
Why aren't you in the
We
streets
should spend some
marching?
time talking about that,
Why
by the
aren't you
way.
in the streets marching?
I'd
Why
love
aren't you in the streets marching? And now you're going to say, oh, it's because it's the United States doesn't support Iran. Well, let me tell you something. The
Wow.
daughter of the former president of Iran, who is a hardliner, lives here in the United States. Has she been deported? You might not know this. You might not know this, but the little insane freak show who you ran for governor and Senate, Carrie Lake in Arizona, who now runs the organization that runs Radio Free Europe and Radio Liberty, just shut down the Farsi station that was piping Democratic with a small d
Yep.
news into Iran. You know why? Because she called it propaganda. Pro-democracy is propaganda. Why aren't you marching? We're doing everything. Donald Trump told these protesters to go out there, and if he kills you, I'm going to go kill him. If he kills you, if they kill you, if the Iranian regime kills you, go out there. We're going to attack them. We're going to bring democracy to you. He stirred them up. They did it. They marched. They're being hanged from cranes, and he left them to their deaths.
Yep.
Why aren't you marching?
Well, I think we know why. I know why. You know,
I know
why.
why. I know why.
We all know why.
You know what? Everybody here, and I know we're a little off topic and I really have to go, but everybody here who decided that they're going to take a pass on Kamala Harris because of Gaza, fuck you. Every Cuban who said that they were going to vote for Trump, who's now shocked and appalled that their neighbors are being deported back to Cuba because you had this belief and notion that because you were Cuban, the wet foot, dry foot policy applied to you. FAFO, my friends. Fuck
No
you.
argument here. No argument here.
I am so angry right now because this is a declaration of war that he is putting out there at Davos today. Everybody's focusing on the ramblings. Everybody's focusing on the fact that he's talking about, crazy train. He trashed Ukraine. The people who are fighting the biggest front in this war right now on our behalf, dying every single day on behalf of the United States, do not think it's not on our behalf. Europe do not think it's on your behalf. It is on your behalf because these people, when they're done with Ukraine, which is abutting Poland, they're going to go to Poland. And when they're done with Poland, they're going to keep going.
All of this. So I'm sorry, but excuse me if I am apprehensive to support politicians who are part of that movement. And I've gotten a lot of hate on this channel and on my socials and everything else like that because I was hesitant and resistant to wanting to vote for politicians who were supportive of that movement.
Yep.
And I ended up voting for them anyways.
Yep.
And I hope everything goes well. I really, really do. However, it angers me in ways that I cannot describe because of this, because this is where we are, because people are dying in this country. People are dying all over the world in ways that should not be happening because Donald Trump is president. And it was a very small percentage, a few points. If people had shown up in places like Michigan. So, sorry. On that note, Julie's got to go. You got things to do and people to
I gotta
see.
go, you guys. I really am trying to save democracy right now. I can't really talk about what I'm doing, but I really have to run. Michelle, I will give you a call right now. And everybody else, we might see you later. Stay tuned. Like and subscribe because I feel like this day is not going to end well. All right. See you later.
Bye, everybody.